welcome back to my kitchen. Today I am going to be making a beef chili. Alright, I've got about 2 pounds of ground beef frozen in my crock pot. I just plunked it in there and then I added a little bit of water so that it doesn't burn during the night. And then I'm just going to drain the water and the grease off when I wake up and continue with my recipe. I'm going to have it on low. I am going to add chili powder because why not? A little bit of seasoning there. I'll probably throw some salt in as well. Even though I'm going to drain it, I still want it to be seasoned. Definitely want to salt it really good because I am not on a low sodium anything and I'm going to drain it, remember? And pepper. And our pepper, let's get that in there. Alright, we'll just let that cook all night and we'll be back in the morning. Alright, it's early. I'm just getting up and I'm gonna see how good it looks like. It's shrunk quite a bit. And finish making this crockpot meal, shall we? Oh, that looks amazing. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and drain the water and grease off. And yeah. Let's do that. Alright, so I'm hoping I can just lift this out. I've never actually done a whole chunk of meat at once other than when I made like a meatloaf. Perfect. We're just going to go ahead and put that right there. And then I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of this strained out. And I know most of it is water because I added a bit, but there's a lot of grease in there. I moved the chunk of meat out. Usually, the only time I've ever had like a chunk of meat like this was if I've made like a meatloaf. And, but this is not a meatloaf, it's just actual meat. Oh, slipped right out of my hand. It's a slippery little fella. Oh, turn back over. You got all the seasoning on it. All right. That's good. Anyways, and in here there's a lot of grease and mixed with water. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour that into this pan and let it cool. Then I can just scrape the fat off the top and use the broth to make a gravy later. So let me do that. I'm trying to think. I don't really want to pour grease over that meat. So I'm going to just set it on a plate. And then that way I can not have more grease on it, even though it's been cooking in that its own juices all night. So we'll set that aside for just a minute. Yes, it is dirty in a dish, but you know, it is what it is. Alright, which then I don't even think I need the strainer, but I already got it out, so okay, I'll just pour that out through there. Oh, it's so hot. The pan is so hot. Alright, let's get this put back together. And for those people saying, oh, she just dumped it down her sink. She just dumped that right down her sink. Well, I'm a very honest person. And there's a bowl right there. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it isn't there. Alright, back to our crock pot. So I'm going to go ahead and just get that slab of beef in there. And then, yeah, let's get that broken up. Alright, so I got the water and grease drained off. And I just seasoned it lightly with salt and pepper, just the meat when it was cooking. Y'all saw that. So now we're going to go ahead and chop it up. Alright, and then I just have this chopper. I've had one forever ago from Pampered Chef, and the handle broke, and they said they're not guaranteed. Even though when I was told it was guaranteed when I bought it, this is just barberware. I'm pretty sure I got it at Walmart, but nothing fancy. It's called, I believe it's called a mix and chop, but I really like it. I use it when I cook raw meat, and I use it to break up already cooked meat. So, there you go. It doesn't have to be super fine. We're not making tacos. This is chili, so just chunk up your meat there. And yeah, we'll start adding all the rest of the stuff. Alrighty. So, welcome back to my kitchen. Today, I am going to be making my hair stay flat if I can. And I'm going to be making a chili, a beef chili. yummy, yummy. It is one of Codee's favorites. She actually started making when she was 12 years old. We have a few different videos of this on our channel, but they weren't always made in a crock pot. The recipe came from a diabetic cookbook that she got when she was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, which we've later found out is a misdiagnosis. She does not have that. But yeah, dishing it up Disney style. Anyways, her favorite recipe is Baloos black bean and chili. And this is what it should look like if you serve it with cheese and sour cream. And if you do it exactly like they say, I make a lot of changes. So you would need, if you want to make it with me, you'll need ground beef. Now their recipe says a half a pound. Well, I used about 2 pounds, at least 2 pounds of ground beef. I've done more. And then, because I like it to have more protein, like meat source. Okay. You also need, it says a vegetable oil. I don't do that part. Even if I was going to use an oil, it would be olive oil or avocado oil. But I don't do that part. When I do it in a crock pot, I just skip it. 1 large onion chopped up, 1 medium green bell pepper chopped, 1 clove minced garlic. Yeah, I just used garlic. 1.5 cups tomato juice, 1.5 to 2 cups beef or chicken stock. Y'all know I don't do that. I use this. And I just add water. Okay. And then 1 can of crushed tomatoes in puree. I'm going to be using this one I got from the food pantry. You also need 3 to 4 cups. Oh, I just read that again. I thought it said cans. Okay. 3 to 4 cups cooked black or red beans. Salt or pepper to taste, which I did already when I cooked the meat last night. And then sour cream, cheddar, or parsley for garnish. We usually put cheddar on our chili, but not parsley. And then you'll need a seasoning mix to season the chili. And the seasoning mix, you'll need 1 tablespoon of cumin, 1 tablespoon of mild red chili, 1.5 teaspoons of coriander, which I have never used until years ago, 1 teaspoon dried oregano, and 1 teaspoon unsweetened cocoa powder, which is one of the reasons we like this a lot, because our family channel name is Crazy Adventures with Cocoa. All right, so let's get making this, okay? All right, first thing, let's get the broth in there, and then we'll get the onions done, and just do it, you know? But, oh, isn't this so cool? I said tomato sauce. I don't have any tomato, just, did it say sauce? I'm lying. I said tomato juice, but this is where you can make changes using what you have. I said tomato juice. I don't actually have tomato juice. I have this in my freezer. This was made from tomatoes that were given to me by Codee's grandma Sandra. I'm going to use this for the tomato sauce. Tomato juice. Sorry, the tomato juice. Oh my gosh, it's really early. I'm trying to get all this put together. All right, let's do this. All right, first I'm going to add a big spoonful and a half of this just to make the broth. And then we're going to add our water. Alright, if you had tomato juice, you could just add that, but I don't. So I'm adding this chunk of tomatoes. It'll become juice, okay? It'll be fine. I'm trying to get the last little bit out of the bag. And then my onion. I have a little bit more onion to cut. Alright, and more onion. Alright, about 1 small onion there. And then the beans. Alright, I like to rinse my beans, so 1 can of kidney beans and 1 can of black beans rinsed. And then the 1 can of tomatoes diced with roasted garlic, and that I just add in there. Oh, they're big chunks. I really like the petite dice, but you know what? You get what you get, and I must have picked this one out of all my choices at the food pantry that day. Alright. Alright, let's add our spices. 1 tablespoon of chili powder. If it goes a little over, I'm not going to freak out. It'll be fine. Okay. 1 tablespoon of chili powder. And then we need a tablespoon of cumin. How are you guys doing today? Good? I hope you're doing good. I'm doing okay. Good, I'm doing good. A tablespoon of cumin on there. And that's the end of our tablespoon measurements. And then we need a teaspoon of oregano. I just buy the, whatever is the cheapest, great value. Tablespoon of that. The only thing is, Great Value does not have coriander. If y'all didn't know that, you do now. This is the only one I can seem to find. And it's like $5 a bottle. So this chili can be pricey if you don't already carry this spice in your seasoning cabinet, spice cabinet, whatever you want to call it. Or if you know a better, cheaper place to pick it up. I mean, I honestly don't go through a ton of it, but it adds up. All right, so this one you need 1.5 teaspoons. We're going to use a 1/2 teaspoon measurement because that's what fits in my jar. And we're going to do 3 of those. 3 1/2 teaspoons equals 1.5. There's some easy math for you. I dropped my lid. Dang it. All right, and lastly, and probably the most important seasoning is cocoa powder. Yes, look at this. Cocoa powder. That's right. Why? I don't know. But you got to do it. And it says 1 teaspoon unsweetened cocoa powder. So 1 teaspoon unsweetened cocoa powder. It's in there. It's blue to the side, but it's in there. All right, I still need peppers. And I think that's it. Oh, and my garlic. Peppers and garlic. So the recipe says 1 clove minced, but I'm using this minced garlic. And I don't know exactly what a clove is equal to. It probably says on this jar, huh? Let's see. Nope, it just says a teaspoon is a serving. I mean, oh wait, it does. Hold up. It says ready to use. Oh no, it doesn't. Why do I keep thinking things that aren't really true? It doesn't say on here, but I'm just gonna add a big spoonful. If I can get it open. Okay. Yeah, one of these jars lasts a while, depending on how much you use garlic. All right, so I'm going to use a spoonful, pretty heaping over there. I need to push all this down in. I got to go grab my peppers. And my tomato sauce isn't, my tomato juice isn't melting fast enough. All right, it'll be fine. All right, we're going to, I say all right a lot. I think it's to console myself. It's okay. It's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's fine. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Remember that. It's fine, guys. It's fine. I gotta go grab peppers. All right. I brought my peppers in from the freezer. I'm going to chop them up a little bit smaller. I mean, like little pieces are fine, but I don't want any big ones. And the recipe does say, what is it? What does it say? The recipe says 1 medium bell pepper. Okay, this is probably like a large pepper. And even though it does say bell pepper, it just says green bell pepper, exactly. You can put whatever pepper you want, or you could leave it out. You could put jalapenos instead of peppers. You could put green chilies if you wanted. I'm using what I have. I have a bunch of these still in my food freezer from the food pantry haul a while back. So yeah, I'm going to use this. All right, I'm just going to dice them up smaller. But first, I'm going to get me a drink. I'm dying of thirst. And I'm going to give this a try. I picked it up at the food pantry, one of my food hauls a while back. It's pomegranate acai refresher. It is sparkling water that boosts, energizes, and restores balance. I think everyone could use all those good things. Energy and balance, heck yeah. But I only like to drink out of the cans because I'm a weirdo, so I'm going to pour it in this cup I reuse. I reuse them over and over. I wash them and reuse them. Everybody else can throw them away if they want, but I'm going to wash it and reuse it. And it's room temperature, so I'm going to get some ice, but first I'm just going to take a drink. That's good. All right, I'm gonna put some ice in it and then get back to chopping these peppers. All right, I got the peppers all diced up smaller. We're gonna go ahead and add those to our chili. And I know, before anybody says, that's a lot. I understand this is more than one medium bell pepper. I understand that, but it's okay. You know, you do it how you want it. Now, I also am concerned that there's not a lot of liquid, and so I think it'll be fine because I didn't actually add tomato juice. Recall, I added that tomato, which is thawing in there. Let me figure something out. All right, so I mainly was checking the book to see if maybe I forgot something, but no, everything's correct. I don't actually think it's super low on fluid. And these peppers are going to cook down, and that frozen, I don't even know, maybe it is already unfrozen. That frozen pepper, not pepper, oh my gosh, I hate when my mouth and brain don't work together. The tomato soup that I put in here. Not tomato soup. Oh my gosh. Y'all, I'm struggling this morning. And I'm throwing food out the crock pot. Okay, you know what? No edits here. This is all real life. All right, the chili is done. It looks amazing. I'm so excited. It looks so good. All right, guys, we're getting ready to eat here. Before you leave my channel, make sure you remember to check out Lori, the Frugal Mom, and see what she's cooking over there at her house in New Jersey. I can smell it. I think it's going to be amazing. So make sure you check it out. I will leave her link in my description below. We're not going to do a taste test because we've had this before and we already know it's delicious. We're having it with some rolls with butter. Oh. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you try this dish and let me know what you think. And take care. And we will see you guys in our next video. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share.